morning, we'll be taking a look at some idioms.
You just set me up.
Give me a second. We'll be taking a look at some idioms and how we have always said incomplete idioms all along, thinking that, oh, that's all that there is to it, like break a leg or... Now, there are some idioms that are just short phrases, while some have parts. Okay, so we have something like spare the rod, spoil the child. Yeah. But some people will just say, oh, spare the rod, and then they assume that, I mean, you would get the full meaning that way. So we'll be taking a look at some incomplete idioms, and we would help ourselves to complete those idioms. And by the way, letting the cat out of the bag does not have...
I thought so, you know. I thought so. Oh, you set me up twice. Nice. Okay. Now I'm see. Okay. Show yourself. Show yourself.
Coming down now. It's not that deep.
Okay.
All right. Idioms exist in every language. There are words or phrases that are not meant to be taken literally. For example, if you say someone has cold feet, it doesn't mean the person's feet are cold. Instead, it means that the person is nervous about something. The thing about idioms is that they're often scrambled, mixed, and lost in translation. In order to sound like we are learned, or learned, as it were, we often throw idioms or some scholarly phrases into our statements, like from saying like Rome wasn't built in a day to jack of all trades, master of none. No matter the idiom, there is usually a hidden second half to these phrases, which of course changes the meanings that we assumed entirely. Now, here are some of the most common incomplete idioms that have been used over time. The first one is curiosity killed the cat. Right. We often like to say curiosity killed the cat, and oftentimes people would hear it as, I often hear it as, don't be too curious, because if you're too curious, you will find what you're not looking for. You know. Now, you've always heard this since we were little, but the point being that sometimes it's better not to stick your nose where other people don't think you should belong. But what if it was worth it? Just what if, you know? Well, we all know that being too curious and adventurous sometimes could be dangerous, but we have failed to recognize that the other half of this saying makes it a very optimistic idea rather than a pessimistic one. So the later half of this phrase is curiosity killed the cat, but satisfaction brought it back. What this is trying to say is that we can be resilient. It is often said that a cat has 9 lives, so we can at least risk curiosity. When we eventually find what we're looking for, the satisfaction is monumental.
Yeah, you know, I find that one as well, like, you know, the thing about the cats having 9 lives, I find it very interesting. When I was younger, I actually believed it, that cats have 9 lives and they die, and then there was that movie, the horrible Catwoman Halle Berry performed in. Horrible movie.
Oh my God,
very horrible.
You had to do that.
No, it's true.
Well, actually, for Halle Berry herself also admitted that it was one of the worst movies she had ever.
Yes, it was one of the worst comic movies ever made. But anyway, that's not the point. And then there was that movie, and then I really believed that yes, actually, cats can die and come back. But it's not true. They don't have 9 lives. They are just like every other animal, you know. So I find this one very interesting. Curiosity killed the cats, but for satisfaction brought it back. That means that satisfaction can bring it back 9 times, if you think about it. Dip it.
Calm down. No, calm down. Calm down.
Think about it.
No. I'm not going to do that to myself. I'm not going to do that to myself.
But wait, but maybe it means you have 9 tries.
No, I think that a cat has 9 lives. That phrase in its own is just a pointer to the resilience of a cat. It's quite difficult to kill a cat. In fact, we do not practice animal cruelty, but here in this side of the world, it has been proven time and time again that if you want to kill a cat, you have to. It shouldn't see you. Because it would sense that there's danger and it would escape.
Really?
That if you want to kill a cat, you should cover it up in a sack and bludgeon it to death. Wow. Okay, that's very violent. Very violent. Yeah. No, really, because it is believed that a cat doesn't die that easily. You would legit have to try. Before you can kill a cat. So I guess that's where the cat having 9 lives came from. But this. But Have you noticed also that there are quite a number of idioms about cats? Why? Let the cat out of the bag, curiosity kills the cat, the cat has 9 lives.
I'm trying to think, what else? But it's true, you know. Why cats? Why so much attention on cats? What do we have? Are there idioms on dogs? Do we know?
Yes.
Or,
yes.
Something about a lying dog.
Let sleeping dogs lie.
Let sleeping dogs lie. Yeah. Okay. Okay, all right, let's have a look at the next one. So this one is quite popular, and it's an eye for an eye. Now, of course, the old tale of sweet revenge, which can sometimes be bittersweet or maybe even just bitter. Gandhi was actually the person who created this phrase, and he meant it as a peaceful idea. The rest of the saying goes like this: an eye for an eye only makes the whole world blind. What he meant was that yes, we can all have our revenge, but it's just going to leave everyone hurt in some way or another. Okay, I never had any idea that Gandhi actually came up with this idiom. So now Gandhi's like in a different level in my mind. Like, he was already like up there. Now it's like, it's like up there. I didn't know. Did you know that? I didn't know Gandhi came up with this phrase. That's amazing.
I didn't know Gandhi came up with the phrase. But I'm trying my best not to spoil Gandhi for you.
Okay, I know there's okay. No. Don't let's do that. No. Let's.
I'm trying my best.
Don't let's do that. Yeah. I know what you want to say. I know, and it's actually what I
was going to say was, which of the Gandhis are we talking about? I hope it is not Mahatma Gandhi. If it is Mahatma Gandhi, then I don't care much for Mahatma Gandhi. I don't care much for Mahatma Gandhi because prior to, I think this year, I saw a fact-check video on who he really was, like his real person and his fallings and failings, as it were. And prior to this year, I'd seen another video that claimed that Gandhi actually claimed the victory of some other people who did the hard work.
Okay.
Back then. So initially, I dismissed it as, of course, people would always want to say something. But when I saw the new video, in my mind, I was like, okay, all right. So that was where I learned. Even Mother Teresa has some dirt spilled on her. So I came to one conclusion. We're all humans.
Yeah.
And I've come to accept the fact that humans have dual natures. We have the absolute opportunities to be fantastic humans, and we also have the absolute capabilities to be horrible humans. And one cannot, both of them can exist within the same person, because you're nice to one person this moment, and the next person you're like, get out of my face. So I'm beginning to accept that, so that I don't get too hurt or too disappointed when I have someone that I think of up here and then they come crashing and I'm like, oh my God.
You know, I've realized that one of the problems with humanity or communities and societies is that we place people on so very high pedestals, you know, and when they, when they are human, when they make an error, as they normally should because they're human, we tend to now look down upon them like, oh.
Forgetting that we make our own errors.
We make our mistakes. So I realized that, like instead of thinking as this or placing this person rather on a pedestal, even when you do that, you have to realize that this person can make a mistake and it is okay. I love what you said about a terrible human being and a beautiful human being all being encompassed in one person, like the yin and the yang, and the yang. There's another phrase, the white wolf and the black wolf. These two parts is actually what makes up humanity. I don't think that's a bad thing. Now, linking it back to this,
Gandhi saying
an eye for an eye, to the revenge aspect. A lot of people, based on this thing I just said, on this humanity thing, a lot of people just say an eye for an eye. Don't worry, I'll get you back. But
they never think about.
But it's not. So I like that. An eye for an eye makes the whole world blind. So if you can literally say that first, the form comma, an eye for an eye, and you could say, okay, I'm going to get my own back. That's just how it is. Actually, you know, one thing I know about UK street culture, and I've also watched documentaries on American street culture as well. I'm talking about the hood and ghettos and stuff like that. That is how they operate. An eye for an eye is very simple. It's very sad. It's very worrying, and that's why there's a lot of shootings and knife crimes and all this kind of stuff with young children as well. But, you know, I think maybe they need to see the other side of this phrase, which says an eye for an eye makes the whole world go blind. I'll tell you what happens, for instance, in a UK community where, an impoverished UK community, if, you know, for instance, if a cousin of a person of, let's say, Bob, if Bob's cousin is attacked by Tom, Bob is going to attack one of Tom's cousin, and then it's going to keep going. So Tom's going to attack one of Bob's family, Bob's going to attack one of Tom's family, and it's an ever cycle of violence that actually lasts for a long time. And then you start seeing, like, you know, color fraternities, like this one is blue, this one is red, or this one is yellow. It's these kind of things that creates this kind of, you know, in my opinion, shallow thinking. It is shallow because, you know, lives are being lost because of an ideology or an enemy that you have no business making in the first place. So, you know, really, an eye for an eye makes the whole world go blind.
And then if you look at it from another perspective, I think that when people say an eye for an eye, of course, like we established, they hardly think about the repercussions that follows, because it's like, I'll do my own, I'll do my own. Calm down. When you do your own, at the end of the day, so something happened this morning, and I'm someone who likes to reflect on situations that happen. When I'm angry about something, I don't hide it. I tell you, I'm very upset about this.
I've seen that, don't worry.
And then go away. And then, because I feel like if I keep quiet, if I'm upset about something, I do keep quiet. It never goes away. It never goes away. So I am all for, I just let it out and then let it go. And then when, so this morning, something, so there was a little scuffle between someone and I, and someone else said, two wrongs don't make it right. And I took a pause after that sentence, because in my mind I was already gearing up for a showdown, like I was going to give you a piece of my mind. And then when the other person said two wrongs don't make it right, I took a pause, like, actually, yeah, I did bang that door hard. And I did it desperately, so I love your
therapy session.
That's my kind of person.
I love your self-therapy session this morning. It's beautiful. No, seriously, I actually encourage people to do this. Yeah.
So I like to come to on my own. I like to admit my own wrongdoings to myself. Sometimes if you tell me, I may not accept it immediately because maybe I'm not seeing it, but give me some seconds to ruminate about it. I'll be like, oh, okay, really, you too, Steph. And then I move on from there. But if you keep saying an eye for an eye and you don't think about the second half of it, you will not reflect on your actions before you take the actions. So if you say an eye for an eye, well, it leaves the world blind. It leaves everyone blind, or it leaves the whole world blind. Okay, let me just let it go. You know, it helps you to reflect. Do I want to see an entire world of hurting people? Do I want to see an entire world of blind people? Because if I'm blind, you're blind. How will you help me if we are both blind? The question of the blind leading the blind.
Yeah, I like the.
That's another idiom, by the way.
Oh, wait, what? Are we making our own up now? It's your copy idioms. You know, I like that you spotted the thing about consequences, and that's one thing this idiom actually, you know, even if you don't look at it from the point of revenge, the message of the idiom is also that every action you take has consequences. Yes. It's like one of my favorite quotes from Tupac. You know, the famous Thug Life tattoo: "The hate you give little infants messes everyone up." You know, what's the word? Okay, so it's one of my favorites. You know, I really love that Tupac really, you know, did that. Thug Life: "The hate you give little infants messes everybody up." It's not, you know, mess is not the word it was there, but, you know, and it's essentially the same thing. The actions that we do today have a latter consequence in the future. We might not see it, but that is more of a reason why we need to pay attention to how we're reacting today, because it can cause, you know, it can have consequences on tomorrow.
Yeah, because,
you know, and we might not even be the one experiencing those consequences.
We are even the sum total of all the actions we've taken in our lives. Like that's who we are.
Yeah.
You know, look at somebody. Okay, this person has not made good decisions all along. Oh, this person has made good decisions all along. That's right. All right, let's get the next one. The early bird gets the worm. People have been sharing this early bird gets the worm quote for decades, with the meaning that people who are first are the ones who get to reap the best rewards. But this isn't always true, which is why the other half of this idiom even gets better. It goes this way: the early bird gets the worm. The early bird gets the worm, but the second mouse gets the cheese. In business, life, and chess, there are cases where being the first one to move has its advantages. But since the road ahead isn't always clear, you might want to consider trailing behind someone, minimizing your own risk. So in this famous quote, the second mouse gets to enjoy the rewards because he got to learn from the previous mouse. There's a lot more depth to the full quote than just the first half. We have seen this a lot in business. It's not about who did it first. It's always about who did it right.
I was going to say that quote, you know. It's not about did it, everybody taking it from me.
So the early bird gets the worm. Everybody, in fact, this is the first time that I would hear the second mouse get the cheese. Because in my head, I'm always like, the early bird gets the worm. Get there early, get there early. Because, I mean, that's legit the only thing my parents preached to me growing up. You are too tardy. Get up. The early bird gets the worm, you know? Because, so I don't spend long in the shower, but when I need to get dressed, oh goodness. I could say, I could have decided what I wanted to wear the day before. And then on the morning of putting it on, I changed my mind. I'm like, no, I don't want to wear this one anymore. I'm not in the mood for it anymore. And then it took, I think that I like the fact that I'm in the media because it kind of, some things that I would have been very complacent about, it kind of shook me up like, madam, get going. But now that I think about it, when you look at what other people have done like ahead of you, it helps you to minimize your own risk. It helps you to decide, I'm not taking that path. I'm not doing it the way this person did it. So that's what happens when you see people, it's like saying learn from other people's mistakes. So yes, it's good to be early, but when you are being early, you also have to be what's the word now?
Maybe cautious.
Cautious, yes, thank you. You also have to be very cautious. You also have to, you know, watch it. Ask yourself, what's the purpose of this? You have to, because you can't. So imagine someone who is trying to be very early, rushes out of the house, and maybe is not very patient on the road, drives recklessly because, oh, I'm late, get out of my way, and then has an accident. Did you get there early? No. And it should apply to Nigerians, especially Lagosians, because they are never patient. Never, ever patient. Never. They would not. You're trying to pull out of your driveway onto the road, and they would never wait for you. You're trying to turn your car. They would never. There's nothing. Lagosians are very impatient. I think someone should put this as a sticker on their car.
Do you know what's sad? I have learned that impatience, I have internalized Lagos impatience.
Excuse me, you're playing with you. I disagree with you absolutely. See, there's a Yoruba adage that says that if someone calls you a thief, if you are not a thief, you will not behave like one. If you behave like a thief and then you say it's because somebody called you, it's because you wanted to steal before. Yes.
So you're saying that's how it's always been. No, that's not. You know what's funny? I was dating, when I first got back to Nigeria, I was dating this particular person, and she was in the car with me, and she experienced my Lagos road rage for the first time. She's never seen me like that, because I'm not actually like that. And she just, like, there's this look on her face like, what are you doing? Like, why are you shouting? Like, why are you? I was just like, how can't you see? You almost crossed me. You almost bashed me. I'm not going to take that nonsense. She's like, you don't have to shout. It's like, are you serious? Like, when did you become so, like, roused? I was just like, sorry. You know, so Lagos, I've learned some bad habits in Lagos. But what I was going to say about this is that I think this also goes to highlight the point of mentoring. You know, highlights why mentorship is very important. Now, there's something I used to do when I was younger, and it's not a very nice thing, actually. So when my friends get into trouble, or when, you know, they fail in school, or when something just goes off, I go and ask them, like, yeah, sorry, what happened? you know, and then they start telling me, I'm not asking because I care. I'm asking so that I get the information of what you did wrong. So I used to do this when I was young. It was it's growing up, I realized that it's not nice. Like, that is not a nice thing.
I have a question for you.
What is it?
How is your commitment journey going? Have you gotten the plant?
So this
have you gotten the plant? Because we need to get you to care more. Why would you ask someone what happened because you don't?
It's for information now. The world, you see, I understood the road.
Remind me to avoid you.
I understood the points of data and information are quite very. Wait, hold on. I've said I've changed. I don't do that anymore. I actually care now. I am not care, but
Ouch!
Are you okay?
Oh, please.
Oh, are you serious? You see, like,
oh, please.
Come on. Anyway, so I actually care now. But when I was younger, honestly, that's what I used to do. I remember one of my very close childhood friends. Is when I did it to him, I realized that, okay, there's something is wrong. Like, you can't be doing this to people that you claim to
actually, it's actually good to find out what really happened.
So, you know, the other half of this idiom, the second mouse gets the cheese. You know, what I was trying to say about mentoring, it highlights the point of why you need to have a mentor. The point of having a mentor, the reason why a mentor is important is
to show you the ropes.
Yeah, they've been through that journey. So, you know, the idea of this second mouse get the cheese is actually because the cheese is on a rat trap, on a mouse trap. So when the first mouse gets there, it's going to get trapped by the mouse trap, and the cheese is free, and the trap is free. So the second mouse that comes gets the cheese without doing any work. So your first mouse in that particular scenario is your mentor. You know, they've been through it. You know, they know how to escape the trap. You know, they will let you know, okay, don't touch this thing. It's a snap, or you know, go this way and stuff. So it really highlights why.
But I want to also criticize that idiom.
Okay.
You know, the second mouse gets the cheese. As much as it is a caution for the early bird that gets the worm, because we can't, you have to separate it. So they didn't say the early mouse.
Okay.
The early bird.
So
now the bird has, so you have, it's like you have to actually open your head. So the early bird, the bird has wings, it can fly and at least to a large extent avoid any trap or any problem that might want to arise from trying to get the worm early. The mouse, on the other hand, does not have wings, only has a tail and four feet. And you know, so scurrying about, smelling and sniffing with the nose, and you might probably just get trapped. Because now I think that if you look at it deeper, it talks about foresight. A bird has a better advantage. You can see far, you can see different angles. But a mouse is restricted to, you know, what they can see. So you have to know your strength and your weakness for you to decide if you're an early bird or a second mouse. You can't go head on into stuff, you know, thinking, oh, I'll just get it done. You have to actually find out about yourself. If you're an early bird, that's if you have all the advantages that you need. So for instance, someone who has all the advantage of access to internet, access to technology, access to schooling, access to everything, and is not doing anything with it, then that kind of person you can't apply second mouse to that kind of person in that regard, because you have everything to your advantage, so you should make use of it.
Right.
But if you don't have so much advantage, you have to be extra cautious so that you don't compare yourselves to those who have the advantage and then get yourself in trouble. Then for the second mouse too, that's like, it's some people might interpret it to mean complacence.
Right. Okay. Yeah.
That, well, second mouse gets the cheese. Let other people first go and suffer. But sometimes when you think other people will suffer, they just might not suffer. What if the trap was not set properly and the first mouse got the cheese anyway? That's
how we see, for instance, the business early adopters of particular businesses, you know, thriving ahead of people who. So
it just depends. Or let me say, this idiom should come. You should factor this. You should factor this idiom in when you have to actually think wide. Don't restrict it to, I can still be late, or I can do what needs to be done. Be punctual, be consistent, be committed, be persistent. However, know how to play your game.